Good afternoon. My name is John. I'm with the City of Pensacola Fire Department. I'm a firefighter EMT. Normally I come to work 8 o'clock in the morning. We normally leave 8 o'clock the following morning. It's a 24-hour shift. Normally we come to work, first things on duty that we do are we have these trucks here, and we go through our trucks, we check them out, we make sure that all the gear is operational, everything's working on it, and we make sure that all the equipment on it is there that's supposed to be there. Now after we check all the trucks and make sure everything is done with the trucks, normally we have a station here, and this is home for us. It's a 24-hour home for us, and we live here every third day. So we'll go in, we'll clean the station up, we'll make sure everything is good within the station as far as we having everything that we need for the whole day for the shift. Now after we do that, we'll usually sit around and we have a discussion in the morning usually about what the plans are for the day if we have any training that we have to do. Now if we have training that we have to do, it's usually set at a time set, so we'll break that down as far as what trucks are doing what training. And as we do that, we'll go through all day. Now in the process of doing our training, we also run calls. So we may run a medical call, we may run a fire call. It just depends on what the type of day it is. Normally on a call, my job as a firefighter EMT is I go out and I check every patient that we have. Being that if it's a motor vehicle accident, I'll go and check the patients to make sure they're okay. What medical aid do they need? Do they want to get transported to the hospital or not? I get all that information, and from there I report that information back to my captain. Now if we're in anything such as a structure fire or whatnot, my job as a firefighter EMT again is I pull the hose line. My job is to get scotted up, masked up, and I'm going inside to put fire out. So in between all of that, we just sit around at the station, waiting on a call, but while we're waiting, we're also doing things. We're constantly reading books. We're constantly reading manuals on new things that have changed within the fire department. The fire department is always evolving. Things change within the department. All right, well, the job requirements for our job is, there's several. You need at least a high school education or a GED. Once you have all of that, you come in, you put up and apply for the job. Now, along with having that, it's a good advice for you to go out and get at least an EMT certificate, which requires you to go through whatever local, state, or local that you have to get your certification. Now, once you have that certification, you go ahead and apply. Now, while you're in, it'll be a good suggestion that you also work towards your paramedic. Many departments will require you within a certain amount of time of having your EMT and getting hired on to have a paramedic. So it's a good idea for you to go ahead and push yourself to go ahead and get that paramedic. Now, prior to coming in as the EMT and coming into the department, you really need to work on stuff such as your stamina, such as running. You need to do a little bit of running because running is going to be a requirement for you to get in when you take a test to come into the department. So I would suggest, you get started on a little bit of running, a little bit of weight exercise and training also, because you're going to be required to lift a minimum amount of weight, and that varies by departments, what they require you to be able to lift and carry. There is a test that when you do come into a fire department, you take a test to get in there, and that test will have certain skills that you will have to have, and the skills are running, lifting, and pulling skills. You also be carrying things also. So you need to get your mindset on the fact that you will be doing quite a bit of exercise when you're going to be coming into the department. Also, thinking about your agility, make sure that you'll be able to move and stretch. Your body will have to turn and twist so much of a degree, and that varies by departments. Now, the best part about my job here is being a firefighter EMT or just being in the fire department, period, is not only the respect that you get from the citizens, but it's also the pride that you have as an individual when you go out and help somebody and they come and say thank you. And that's what makes the best part of this job, is I'm actually helping someone and I'm helping them to come over or get over whatever problem that they're having at the moment that they had to call us for. Now, the worst part of my job is anytime I have to deal with young children. Young children to me would be the worst part of this job because they haven't lived a life yet. So anytime I'm going to work with a young child, that's the worst part of my job as far as that. Now, we do different things with children. I mean, they could be car accidents, burn victims, drowned victims, anything of that nature. And you have to be able to cope with that and deal with that. I would say would be the worst is you go to that scene and you kind of like, we're taught pretty much to leave that scene at that scene. Don't bring it back to the station and you don't take it home with you. That is the worst thing you could ever do, is to take a bad scene home with you. Because if you can't leave it at the scene and you can't, bring it home with you, it'll eat at you, it'll dig at you, and it could really, just drain you and keep you off focus of what you're supposed to be doing. Now, my final advice for anybody wanting to come into this type of field of work is know that it's a self-serving work. All right, you're going to have to really appreciate doing this. It's not about, oh, I'm coming in here to get fame and glory. This is not fame and glory. This is serving someone. So you have to have a servitude attitude when you're coming in here. If you're not willing to serve your community, this is not the job for you to come into. We are a community-based department. Whenever you come into any fire department, it is a community-based department. It's all about the community. You're there to serve the community. That's it. And if you don't have that type of attitude going in, it won't work for you. So my suggestion, advice is, while you're in school, go work with some community groups. Work with young children. Be a mentor to a young man or young girl. Find a little elementary person or elementary young man or lady and tutor them if you have to. Help somebody out. Get into the mode of, I want to help serve someone. And that's the attitude you need to bring into the department if you're coming into this department. Now, other things you can do to get yourself out there is, at church. I mean, work with church groups, missionary groups, stuff like that. They go out, they visit nursing homes, or they go out and they visit, children's hospitals, stuff like that. Get into something like that and you kind of like get a feel for what it'll be like to serve in a department, to work with the fire department.